So we're going to start with Meghan and Harry's engagement interview because I think this is a really interesting place to begin, and there is so much to talk about in it, especially knowing what we know now. So let's start right at the beginning. Even at the time of watching it, I remember thinking that the whole thing felt weird and incredibly false, and I couldn't put my finger on why. Then, the more I watched her, and after I had that epiphany I talked about in my last video, where I realized I recognized her behavior in myself, I was able to better explain why I found it weird. At the time, I wanted everybody to believe I was nicer, sweeter, or more innocent than I really was, and am. I'm still the same person I was then, but I just don't want to convince others that I'm a sweetie now. I don't care. I'm happy for them to know who I really am. But back then, I wanted everyone to think I was this real nice person. I would become very conscious of how I was presenting myself. I wasn't just being nice. I was trying to convey how nice I was through my actions and to look nice. And that's what I feel like I'm watching here. I wanted everyone to think I was this really nice person and that I was head over heels in love with my partner at the time. And a good example in this is when we look at the way she's holding his hand. It's like a death grip. There's something about it that reminds me of a predator guarding its prey. It's too much, but it's intended to convey that they're so in love, that they can't be separated, that they're clinging to each other. And it's weird because nobody acts like that when they're in love. It's just so forced. People who love each other are natural around each other, who are soft around each other. It's like when you're forced to smile, it never looks right, it never looks real, and as human beings, we can pick it up. We'll talk about that later on. But look at her shoulder. Her whole body is positioned slightly in front of his, almost pushing him backwards, while she occupies the space in front. That I don't understand, unless it's to get more attention on her, or to put herself forward. But to be fair, I never wanted attention. So please let me know what you think in the comments, because I've got nothing with this one. I've never done that. People will say it's just where she happens to be sitting. Maybe, but I don't automatically dismiss these little things as coincidences, because when I behaved like this, they often weren't coincidences. I was very aware of where I stood, how I looked, what impression I was creating, and how other people were responding to me. There certainly weren't many accidents when I was doing it. And I don't think there are any accidents when Meghan does it. It takes thought to grab his hand like that and hold it in hers all the way through, and then keep her hand on and keep her other hand on. Those things take thinking. They're not natural things that people do. Now, look at the laughing. To me, it doesn't look spontaneous. She smiles and laughs, but then the expression keeps slipping from her face. It's as though she can't put a smile on, or that she can, but then her face gets tired. She can't quite keep it there because it's not naturally there. She has to force her muscles into a smile, and that makes her face feel tired, so she has to drop it every now and again. Go to the interview, you'll see that this kind of almost manic smiling and laughing stops through the interview. She doesn't do it throughout the interview because it just takes too much energy to do. And I would do that as well. You know, I'd find that it would take so much energy to be this person that I wanted to be, to, you know, convince everybody I was so super, super nice. When I got home, I just was wiped out. Now, look here. See where she's taking that big breath? It looks like nervousness, but that's not what that is. That is tiredness. that is your body needing oxygen, because you're working so hard to keep up this facade that you get out of breath almost. It happens all the time to me, which is why I'm so exhausted when I'm done. Now watch her whenever Harry speaks. She turns towards him and gazes at him so intently that it almost feels like she's saying, "Look at me, look how interested I am in him, look how much I adore him." But she pairs it with the grinding teeth, so it almost looks like she's glaring at him. It looks so forced, and she's so close to him. It looks like she needs to go cross-eyed just to focus on him. It's so stupid. But she doesn't see it that way. And Harry looks really uncomfortable. At times, she looks like she's staring him down and he's like slouching under her gaze. So I think he might recognize that this is too much. Even her voice contributes to it. She tries to speak really softly and sweetly and delicately. I mean, of course, people use different voices in different situations, but we've heard her speak. She doesn't speak like this. And again, I recognize this. When I wanted people to think I was nice and sweet, I didn't just behave differently. I changed the way I spoke too. I cringe so hard when I look back because my partner knew I wasn't like that. He must have thought I was a nutcase. And you kind of see this a bit in Harry in parts. He doesn't sound very enthusiastic through the interview. And at times he actually looks deflated. So I wonder if he's trying to bring down the energy and hope that she'll mirror that. But she doesn't. She doesn't let go of his hand for the whole interview. Look at her reaction here when she's talking about the ring, when they're talking about the ring. I've got to say, I found this reaction kind of gross. She spent the first half of the interview kind of smiling and forcing laughter and kind of, "Oh, look how nice I am." And then they talk about the ring and she can't even fake enthusiasm. After all that fake enthusiasm for everything else, she can't put a smile on her face when she's talking about the ring. At one point, she looks like she's almost like frowning at it or something when they talk about the stones. Like, she's obviously disappointed from what I can see. And this is another one of those moments where I think, I have no idea what she's doing here. Because I would fake it like heck at this point. I would be gushing over this ring, whether I liked it or not. But this reaction is just, I've got nothing. I don't know what to say about that. One last thing I want to bring up about her mannerisms and her behaviours is this right here, this facial expression, which she uses a lot in almost every interview, where she smiles and she turns her eyebrows up so that the inside of her eyebrows, so the eyebrow, the part of the eyebrow closest to the nose, goes up, and that her eyebrows kind of slant downwards, and she smiles at the same time. This is a way to show some sort of naivety, some sort of innocence, laughing at yourself. I've done it, I do it now. And when I catch myself doing it, I consciously have to stop it. It's a way of conveying, well, you know, even these bad circumstances, I'm still understanding. It's horrible. It makes me feel so cringy, the worst. And I see her do it all the time. Does anyone else see this? Does anyone else do this or has seen other people do it? It's so disingenuous. It kind of makes me crazy. And if I can spot it in myself, I don't know how she doesn't know she's doing it. She must watch her interviews and think, oh my God, look at me. But who knows? Who knows with her? So, what have we seen during this interview? We've seen Meghan's face under such strain that at times it looks distorted. And as I said, I've done that myself, and I've seen people's reactions. And their reactions are always to give me a strange look. And so I thought that I wasn't doing it right, or I wasn't being convincing enough. It's obvious what Meghan wants here. She wants the public to think that she's super, super nice. But you can't pretend. People know it's instinctual. But she doesn't give up. She keeps going to the point it looks ridiculous. And even Harry picks up on it. I think that's probably a good place to stop for now. The amount of cringe that has come up from watching this video, not just for Meghan, but for myself, because this is so familiar to me. And I would go home and replay all this in my head and wonder why people were giving me strange looks. And it was just because I was acting so odd. It's very difficult not to see that odd behavior. It's almost like uncanny valley. You know something's wrong, but you just can't put your finger on it. So it makes you feel uncomfortable. And that's what people were getting from me, because I was so desperate for them to believe something about me, which wasn't true. I'm not a super, super nice person. I'm not happy-go-lucky. I don't gaze lovingly at my partners and am completely besotted with them. That's just not who I am, but that's what I wanted them to think I was, so they would like me. I think the difference here between Meghan and I is that when I realised how weird I was being, I changed. But Meghan either hasn't realised or thinks that she's not doing it right and wants to continue to manipulate. The next video might be about something completely different, or it may be going through the interview again and talking about what she's said rather than her mannerisms. Because there's a lot of times I try to manipulate the narrative by what I say, introducing things maybe that I maybe want to come back to later. We think long term, people like me and Meghan. And like I said, it can be destructive. But we'll see. Hopefully you'll join me in my next video, whatever that might be. Please do put all your comments down below. I love hearing from you guys. I'd love to know if anyone else behaves this way or has seen anybody act this way and what your reaction was. Be brutal. I'm not sensitive, trust me. All the best all. Bye for now.